All praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wabrakakwadash. Peace, blessings, and much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders within Israel who rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth. To the rest of the church who believe as well. You men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters as well. And the water to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. Okay? So you Israelite women out there, you know, you claim, you believe, you claim that you agree with the doctrine that we speak, which is of the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, but you still have a lot of you out there, you have an issue being submissive, you have an issue being soft, being delicate, you have an issue being a woman. You see a woman as being weak, you see a woman as being just some docile creature with nothing to add, when in fact a woman who acts as a woman is one of the most beautiful things that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has created. Okay? There are many things in the universe that the Lord has made, and one of the greatest things that the Lord has made is a woman who is in order. Okay? I gotta say that. But this is 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham. And notice it said obeyed. If you was to use that language amongst a lot of these women today, they'll look at you like you're some oppressive so-called white man who's trying to put them in slavery, right? They'll look at you like you done lost your mind. Okay? But you are supposed to obey your husband. And then you'll say, well, I would obey my husband, but then you'll have 1,000,001 excuses on why you don't. Okay? Anyway, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement. So as long as you do well, okay, as long as you treat your man just like Sarah was teaching Abraham, Sarah should be one of your greatest examples on how to be a righteous woman. Just like we look at examples in the Bible of righteous men before us, you women need to look at righteous women before you and see how you should be. Because looking up to Nicki Minaj and Cardi B and whoever else is out there in this celebrity world of madness, they're leading you astray. And a lot of them don't even practice what they preach. They'll tell you to be the biggest harlot you can be while going home to a family, while cooking and cleaning, and telling you cooking and cleaning ain't something they gonna do for their man. And then you fall for it. And then you end up losing out on your marriage while the woman you're following is in a happy marriage. Okay, as long as you do well, be good to your husband. A lot of women want to know, how can I be saved? How can I make it? What do I need to do? All you need to do is be a woman. What is a woman? A woman is a female who is in order according to the scriptures. If you have a husband, obey him. If you don't have a husband, don't go around thinking you can be in some seat of dominance amongst men. You might be a woman and you claim that you're an Israelite, but you work a job where you're the manager. You're in a position of authority and you abuse that position, but then you claim that you're a daughter of Zion. That's not you doing well. Okay? You can be in a manager's position in this world because, see, everything is out of whack. Everything in this society is out of whack. But that don't mean you have to try to dominate and try to break down or try to show that you're over different men because of your seat of authority that Esau has given you in this world. Okay, and a lot of you women, you're scared to lose your seat in this society as it is. You wouldn't step down from that manager's position. You wouldn't step down from being a woman of authority if it took you to make sacrifices of being a submissive woman. if it made sacrifices, if you had to make sacrifices of you doing as what the Bible would say, you would have a problem with that, because a woman is not supposed to be over the man, but you've been placed in positions where now you naturally are in competition with men because you're working jobs that men do. You act like men would act, although a lot of men have become effeminate and ladylike. There's been a role switch. Women are becoming more breadwinners. Women are becoming more aggressive and masculine. Men are becoming more shy and soft-spoken. Men are becoming more submissive and more docile, okay, and obeying their women. Everything is backwards, but that's not how it's supposed to be. The Lord ain't with that, all right? You're supposed to obey your husbands in righteousness. Now, if your woman says, hey, let's pull off this threesome, you're supposed to reject that, okay? But anything in righteousness, if your man ain't telling you nothing wrong, okay, you're supposed to agree. And if you have anything you need to say, okay, if your man is of righteous judgment, he'll ponder, he'll consider what you're saying, but ultimately he gets the last say so, okay? And a woman in today's society she'll have an issue with that, all right? But a daughter of Sarah will obey their husband and be submissive. And one thing that Sarah did, this is straight submission right here. A lot of you women, you say, oh, hell no. But yet you claim to be a righteous woman. Okay? But this is what Sarah did. And at this time, her name was Sarai. All right? Now, Sarai, Abram's wife, being Abraham. Now, Sarai later had her name changed to Sarah. And Abram later had his name changed to Abraham. Okay? Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife, which means what? He had sex with her, because sex is marriage. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived, and when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. So yeah, she got jealous after a while, but nevertheless, she took it upon herself to say, you know what? Because I want my husband to be happy, I want my husband to have a child, I'm going to give my handmaid unto him so that he can go in unto her. Okay? That's an act that Sarah did. And a lot of you women, you get jealous off the fact of seeing your man even staring at another man, let alone saying, yeah, you can go on ahead and go into my friend, you know, she's single, she's looking for a real man, so I told her that, you know, she could join our family. I think she'd be a good person for you to enter into because she has morals and blase. Ain't no woman of today really going to do that. There are women who will. I'm not going to say there's no women who won't, because that's just a damn lie. But overall, most women are not going to be willing to hand their man over to another woman in righteousness. Now, if she's some so-called bisexual, okay, if she's a homosexual, she might be able to say, you know what, honey, let's have a threesome, and then it'd be an orgy. That's against the scriptures. Two sisters are not supposed to be lying amongst each other naked, seeing each other's nakedness. Okay, that's not according to the scriptures. A man's supposed to have, when he's having sex with his woman, he's supposed to have that one woman at that time. Not two women at once, three women at once. No, one woman at one time. Okay? Abraham wasn't freaking off Sarah and then had Hagar in the room next to him, and then he was switching at the... No, he wasn't doing that. Okay? Just like, as I've said, a woman is supposed to be submissive unto her man, but if your man is telling you something that is against the Most High, you have the right to disagree. Okay? Let's go to Genesis chapter 2 and verse 18. And the Lord Power said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. So Sarah, if you claim to be a righteous woman, okay, you would be like Sarah. Now Sarah, she helped out Abraham by giving Abraham her handmaid so that he may bear seed, seeing that Sarah could not bear Abraham a seed. She loved him to the point she wanted him to have a seed and be happy. Although her jealousy kicked in, she still, took that initiative step, I'll say, and did that. A woman today will see you glance at a woman with one eye open. She'll try to kill you in your sleep for some of these women. Okay? Let's go to the Apocrypha. Go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26 and verse 13. The grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten, and her discretion will fatten his bones. Okay, so the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and it was a very delightful move for Sarah to give Abraham her handmaid so that he may bear a seed through her. And because of her doing that, the Lord also blessed her by allowing her to be able to bear Abraham a child. Okay? A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord. A woman of today, if she even thinks of you dealing with another woman, she gets angry. The fact of you even speaking of a man being able to have another woman and her wickedness, she'll say, see, that's all you're talking about. That's all you're thinking about. We'll make 1,000,001 lessons on different things. The second you say that a man can have multiple wives, a woman will say, see, that's your lust. That's your lust speaking. No. One of the biggest problems that a woman has is sharing her man. That's one of the biggest hurdles of today. A woman sharing her husband. But see, women are very narcissistic. They think they're the prize. They think it's all about them. Okay? When in fact, it's all about him. And if you cared about him to that degree, if he wanted another woman, you would allow him to have another woman. Period. I don't care how you narrow it down. You want to be the only one. I get it. But that's not reality. Okay? Now, if a man decides he just wants one woman, that's fine. That's his decision. But don't try to make it a doctrine that a man can only have one wife. He works at, Walmart, so he can't afford to have two wives. Look, if it works for his situation, he can have two wives. All right? A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. A shamefaced and a faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. As the sun when it ariseth in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife and the ordering of her house. So a woman will keep her house in order. Make sure the husband and the children are fed. Make sure the house is clean. Make sure the children are being educated properly. Make sure the daughter's not dressed like a harlot. Okay? Inspiring your daughter to be as a woman and not like a harlot. Okay? Inspiring your son to be a man of integrity, not a man who gives his strength to women. Okay? As the clear light is upon the holy candlestick, so is the beauty of the face and ripe age. As the golden pillars are upon the sockets of silver, so are the fair feet with a constant heart. Okay? And a lot of Israelite men are into women with fair feet. But going back, let's go to verse 13. It says, the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. A discreet woman, that will take a woman very far in this truth. A lot of women are not discreet. A lot of women lack discretion. They're loud. They put themselves out there. And a lot of men are even open with basically prostituting their woman, okay, in front of other men. And we understand a lot of men aren't right. And a lot of you women, you may be with a man who ain't right. But a part of your battle is to still be as good of a wife as you possibly can and stick it through. As long as he's not having you doing anything that breaks the scriptures, okay, do as your man says. If your man's hungry, get him some food. And if your man's reasonable, it really shouldn't be a problem anyway. All right. But that's why it's important for you women to lay down with the right man, because regardless of who you lay down with, that's your husband. And if he ain't right, that's still your husband. Okay. That's why you have to lay down with the right one. And that's why in the scriptures, a man would find his daughter a man, seeing that a woman's options on her own a lot of time are just lacking. She makes a lot of wrong decision making naturally. It's in her nature. Sirach 7:19, also known as the book of Ecclesiasticus. 7:19. Forego not a wise and good woman, for her grace is above gold. So if a man has a wise and a good woman, because we understand most of these women, they don't have no common sense. They don't have no wisdom. They're bugged out. But you can't just say every single woman is just no good. She ain't trustworthy. You can't find a woman who's willing to cook. You can't find a woman who's willing to be feminine. No, they're out there. And just because you don't have one, you can't knock another brother who does and try to make him feel like he don't got one, because your life has shown you many disappointments, because there's a lot of wicked women out here. But there are some decent women out here, and certain brothers may have some. Okay? That's a gift from the Lord. And if brothers have decent women, you're not supposed to despise them. You're not supposed to lead them wrongfully. You're not supposed to, abuse them and treat them like a tyrant. You're supposed to rule by them, fairly, righteously. It's just women, they have a problem with what's righteous and what's not righteous. They make their own righteousness. Okay? Forego not a wise and good woman, for her grace is above gold. So a wise woman, you can't pay for that. A harlot, you can pay for that. Okay, you can go out here and spend money on a woman and she'll be willing to perform, right? But a woman of, true value and true worth, her grace is above gold, because once you have her, she's going to build you up, help build you up. She's going to keep you, confident. She's not going to try to break you down. She's going to be your pillar that holds you up, that exalts you, that loves you, that is fair to you. Not a woman who's going to destroy you. Okay? If she's good, if she's wise, she can't be replaced, man. And don't be trying to go out here and find some other woman to replace your woman, because that's adultery. If your woman's doing good by you, why would you want to leave her? Verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman. So if you have a woman who's after your mind, she thinks just like you. She knows what you like. She knows your interests. Okay? She knows your fetishes. Right? And she's down with you. Why would you try to replace her? Why would you try to forsake her? Why would you lead her wrong? Okay? That wouldn't even make sense. Now, with me saying that, I'm going to bring this scripture up in 1 John. 1 John chapter 4 and 20. If a man say, I love the power, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love the power whom he hath not seen? Now I'm going to reverse this a little bit and apply it to you women. How can you love the Most High who you don't see, but claim to hate your husband who you do see? You don't submit to him. You don't respect him. You don't build him up. You see him going through a hard time, and instead of just working through it, You're looking down on them with disgust. You're having evil thoughts. You're thinking about all the evil that you've done and not regretting it at all. Holding in secrets. The last three guys that tried to holler at you, now you're pondering on maybe one of them you might actually go for because you accidentally, or not accidentally, you actually gave up your time and effort on another man and you took his number, never called him. And now that your husband's doing bad, he's not, up to par at that moment, so to speak. You end up committing adultery, but then you say you love God, but then your husband's right in front of you. You see him. The scriptures tell you that you're supposed to submit to him. Your husband, you're supposed to be his helper, but here it is, you hate him, but then you say you love the Most High when the man is your head, right? How can you hate your husband who is your head, who you see, but then claim to love the Most High and his son who you don't see? Make that make sense, okay? So this applies to the marriage as well. How can a man love the Most High but hate it? Love the Most High and his son but hate his wife? How can a wife love the Most High and his son but hate her husband? It doesn't make any logical sense. And a lot of women hate their husbands, and they show that they hate their husbands by the lack of respect that they have, and the fact that women make their own righteousness, and it's not based off the laws given from the Most High. The Most High says your husband can do something, and then you'll come in and say, well, I said he can't. Okay? The Most High gonna get a lot of you evil women. He's gonna deal with y'all. Okay? Verse 21, and this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth the power loveth his brother also. And the same applies. If you love Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you're going to love your husband and your wife also. I'm going to close it with this. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Mashiach is the head of the church. So if the husband is the head of the wife, how can the wife hate the husband who she can see, but then claim to love Yahweh Shai who she can't see? How can you hop over your head and go straight to his head? That's disorderly, and a lot of women think that they can do that. They think that they can disrespect their husband and then go pray to the Most High, skip over Yahweh Shai even. So she skips over her husband, then she skips over Yahweh Shai, and then she goes straight to the Heavenly Father, and then her head's uncovered. And then she's making prayers and trying to figure out why isn't things working out in her life and all these different things when she's not doing anything that Sarah would have did. She's not being a daughter of Sarah. Okay? For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Mashiach is the head of the church. So just like the husband is the head of his wife, Yahweh Shai is the head of the men. The men are the head of the church. Okay, so if a man was to try to say, you know what, I'm going to jump over Yahweh Shai and go straight to the Heavenly Father, he's going to be denied. If you women try to jump over your husband and think you're going to have access to the Messiah, or you're going to have access to the Heavenly Father, you are going to be denied. And your only sole purpose of being created in the first place was to be a helpmeet unto your husband. Okay, to be a servant unto your husband. And with that, your husband is also supposed to love you, supposed to, take care of you. He's not supposed to just try to prostitute you, try to lead you astray. He's not supposed to be putting hands on you without no just cause. Okay? But a man is supposed to do good by his wife as well. It goes both sides. We both have our roles, and it's according to what the scriptures say. But the biggest thing that women have an issue with is knowing that a man can have more than one woman. And that's going to cause a lot of you women to lose your seat on the place of salvation. You could have been one of his top wives, if not his top wife in the kingdom for an eternity, and you blew that over your own fleshly desires that go against the scriptures. You followed your heart and your heart is deceitful amongst all things. A good example of that is a movie called or it's not a movie, it's a series. It's called The Marked Heart, and it goes into organ trafficking. But long story short, this woman had a surgery done, and she had a heart given to her that was taken from another woman. Long story short, this woman's desires are given to her through this heart that was taken from another woman. So now she is a married woman who's committing adultery with this woman's husband, which she's dead now because, through organ harvesting, through organ trafficking, she became I don't know what you would call it. I don't want to say a donor, since they murdered the woman and gave her heart over to this other woman. And seeing that this other woman has this woman's heart in her, she has desires for this woman's husband, although she's married, right? So now she's following her heart, so to speak. Well, women get caught up in following their heart, meaning their mind. They follow their own emotions, which lead them astray. Instead of saying, well, what would the Bible say? Would the Lord be okay with my man doing this? Would the Lord be okay with this? You women don't do that. You go by, well, I don't think it's okay. I don't like that, so it's wrong. Okay? And most of the time, what a woman thinks is right or wrong is opposite. So a lot of you women, you need to focus on being like Sarah and being more submissive, being more womanly, showing more integrity, being more quiet, being more uplifting. Okay? If you want to make it, if you want to be saved, if you claim to be a believer, be a woman. That's all. Just be a woman. And I'm going to give all thanks and praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Warakakwadah, Shalom.